Hello my friend, it's Tony T here, back with another video to help you transform your life. Forgiveness is one of the most important things we can do in our lives, but self-forgiveness is possibly one of the hardest. So I wanted to share 10 steps to help you learn to forgive yourself. Now it's a wonderful thing to be able to forgive other people, but I believe forgiveness needs to start much closer to home, and that's with you. We all need to be able to forgive other people and to let go of suffering that has been inflicted on us by friends, family, or someone you love. Hell, it can be hard to forgive a stranger on the street. But I think one of the main reasons that it is so hard is because you have not yet learned or developed the skill of self-forgiveness. And self-forgiveness is a skill that needs to be learned, practiced, and perfected. I don't think it's possible to truly forgive someone else unless you are able to genuinely and deeply forgive yourself for whatever needs forgiving. I can already hear some of you saying, yeah, but it's easier for me to forgive other people than it is to forgive myself. Well, of course it is. It's easier because it is less personal or powerful. Forgiving yourself may be one of the hardest things you ever have to do because it involves so many other emotions, such as guilt, anger, pain and resentment, none of which are easy to experience or navigate, which is why it is more important to learn to forgive yourself first before you think about forgiving other people. Learning to forgive yourself is not something that we're ever taught to do as a child, either at school or by our parents. We are taught to forgive our brothers and sisters or the other child in the school playground who pushed you over and stole your sweets. But unless you had truly enlightened parents, I bet they never taught you how to forgive yourself. But I'll tell you why they didn't teach you. It's because nobody had ever taught them, and they didn't know how to do it. So how could they ever teach you? So don't blame your parents for not teaching you something that they didn't know. But perhaps from this video, you can learn how to forgive yourself, and maybe, just maybe, you can teach them. Now, wouldn't that be something? But I believe forgiveness is a skill, and the reason I say that is because it is not easy to do, and it is a learned experience that you have to do repeatedly and to develop. It is not as simple as flicking on a light switch. It must come from deep inside, and it's a process. It is cleansing and healing, and requires you to be able to let go of the hurt and surrender to peace and love, which are our natural states. There are also degrees or layers of forgiveness. You may think you have forgiven yourself for something today, but in 6 months' time, something may trigger a feeling or a reaction in you that indicates that you are not yet totally healed, and you may need to start the process again. But remember, forgiveness is for you. Now, this is really important. People far too often think that if you forgive somebody else for something that they have said or done to you, it's the same as condoning or saying that what they did was okay, but it's not. Firstly, they never have to know that you forgive them. And secondly, holding on to anger or pain is only toxic to you. Your feelings don't affect them, but they do affect you, both mentally, physically, and spiritually. This is one of the biggest reasons people choose not to forgive, because they think that it lets the other person off the hook, or it means that what they said or did was okay. But what forgiveness really is self-healing. Imagine a bottle filled with sewage and you're keeping the lid screwed on really tight because you don't want to let any of it out. Well, that's what you were carrying around inside of you all the time. The other person isn't carrying it. Now they may have given it to you, but you've decided to keep it and hold on to it like a cherished possession. Forgiveness is like unscrewing the top and letting it all rush out. Once it's gone, you can be free of it. Now, there are negative effects of not forgiving because forgiveness is a process of letting go, whereas not forgiving is actively holding on to something. And holding on to something like anger, guilt or pain requires far more effort and is much more draining on the body and mind and spirit than letting go of it. Now, I know this video is about self-forgiveness and I've spoken a lot about forgiving other people, but I needed to talk about why you need to forgive other people, because you need to be able to forgive yourself for not forgiving other people. It's pretty much two sides of the same coin. But let me get to the process of self-forgiveness, and here are the 10 steps. Number 1, acknowledge the pain or the action of what you did. just acknowledge it. Number 2, accept what happened and take responsibility for your part in it, if any. Number 3, be willing to let go of the anger, pain, or guilt. At this point, you just have to be willing to let go of it, because when you are willing to let go, it will naturally happen anyway. Number 4, accept you are only human and not perfect. Number 5, stop blaming yourself or feeling guilty for what happened. It wasn't your fault. Now, I know this is a difficult step, so I'm going to say it again. Stop blaming yourself or feeling guilty for what happened. It wasn't your fault. Number 6, replace blame and guilt with love and self-acceptance. Number 7, create and strengthen your personal boundaries. Number 8, make a conscious effort never to repeat the same thing again that made you feel bad about yourself in the first place. Number 9, know that you are a good person regardless of what happened. Number 10, believe that you are worthy and deserve love. There are many things that we blame ourselves for or regret doing, and believe that in order to atone for those actions, we must keep punishing ourselves. But that doesn't really change the past or do anything for your greater good. All that does is make you feel bad about yourself, and there is no real reason to do that. Also, quite often, when bad things happen, people often find a way to blame themselves or believe that they deserved what happened to them. But again, the truth is they didn't. Yet you didn't. You don't. Somebody may have said or done something to hurt you, but that is on them. It wasn't your fault, and one of the things that you may need to forgive yourself for is believing that it ever had anything to do with you in the first place, or for holding on to the hurt and pain for so long. It really is time to let it go. So, I hope this helps you find a way to let go of toxic feelings that you shouldn't really have ownership of, and to find a way to love yourself more. Because in order to move on and heal, you need to forgive yourself, and I believe that you are worth it, and so should you. And with that, I send you love and hugs, and remember, never give up, never give in, because you are amazing. Thank you for watching this video until the very end. Now, if you want to stay connected to me, there are some links in the comments below that will take you to my Facebook group, my blog, and my books that are all available on Amazon. Have a great day. Much love, Tony T.